Jadav is back at it here to give everyone my very first Breaking Bad Season 3 episode reaction video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you simply just don't know, then you should take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll put in the description for you. If that's the case, you find out if you're not caught up, then I would definitely not watch this video any further, just to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be Breaking Bad Season 3, Episode number 1. Title of this episode is called No Mas. This will be my reaction review recap of the episode. So we have Tuco's cousins, who we heard about in Season 2, Episode 2, I think, or was it Episode 1? Liano and Marco Salamanca. They make a pilgrimage to a Mexican shrine in Santa Marita, making an offering and leaving a drawing of Heisenberg at the shrine. And then, aside from that, we have a week later, after the mid-air plane collision, all of Albuquerque remains in shock. A depressed Walter White is living in his home alone, following the departure of Skyler, who has moved out with her son and newborn daughter Holly, wanting Walt to leave, giving him some time to pack his shit and get the fuck out of there. Walt has pieced together that Donald Margolis, Jane's dad, inadvertently caused the plane crash after being distracted by the grief over Jane's death. Now, remorsefully, Walt actually burns several bundles of money on the barbecue, but at the last moment changes his mind and tips the grill of sorts into the pool, while helping Walt to transport his belongings to a new apartment. Hank actually lifts the bag containing the money that Walt got from Gus Fring in the deal, and Walt openly admits that the existence of money. He's like, "What is in here? Cinder blocks or something like that?" And Walt's like, "500,000 in cash." And then Hank just laughs, believing it to be a joke. Walt tried to tell the truth. Once in the new apartment, Walt calls to give his family his new address, and then he later receives a text message reading Polos, for Polos Hermanos. And then at a school assembly, Walt becomes agitated as both teachers and students open up about the traumas they experienced due to the whole plane collision. And then, prompted to share his thoughts, Walt delivers an awkward speech comparing the accident to other plane collisions, disturbing the assembled audience by advising them to look on the bright side. There only was this many people that died, and nobody on the ground died, which is crazy if you ask me, because typically if there was a plane crash that fell, people on the ground would end up dying somehow, some way, but they didn't. And so the principal, which her name escapes me at the moment, I'm trying to remember. I can't. Sorry. She takes the mic away from Walt. Like, "Okay, that's enough, Walt," or Walter, or Mr. White, I guess is what they call her, or him, I should say. And then Skyler, she's speaking to a divorce lawyer about making her separation from Walt permanent, but hesitates when the attorney mentions the possibility of uncovering money Walt may have hidden. Now, after given a ride home from school by Walt, Walter Jr., or Flynn, argues with both the parents and expresses anger towards Skyler. And another thing I forgot to mention, when Walt is leaving the message about his new address, eventually Walter Jr. gets up and answers the phone because he wants to talk to his dad. And Walt's, "I'm sorry, son, this is how things have to be right now." And then Walter Jr., he, in my opinion, is one of the most unlikable people on this show, says, "Well, I don't even care. Are you going to pick me up or what?" Or something like that. And it's just like, wow, what a fucking asshole spoiled kid he has. So just wanted to throw that in there, as I forgot to mention it. But he expresses a lot of anger towards his mom, Skyler, and she refuses to give him an explanation. She just stays quiet about the whole thing. And she also refuses when asked by Marie. Finally, she confronts Walt, presenting him with the divorce papers, and she accuses him of being a drug dealer. And Walt, he actually admits to being a methamphetamine cook. And then, first she accused him of marijuana and cocaine. He's like, "No, methamphetamines, actually." And Skyler, after that, she storms off, though not before threatening to expose his secret to his children and Hank if he does not concede to the divorce. So Walt's in an interesting situation. And then, of course, Walt's his other half with his methamphetamine stuff. Jesse, he is in rehab trying to overcome his drug addiction and come to terms with Jane's death. And then during a session, the group leader confesses how he killed his own daughter while desperately looking for vodka, and says that hating oneself is only going to deter you from moving on. And Walt picks up Jesse and takes him to his apartment after he's done completing the rehab. And Jesse expresses remorse over the events that led to the midair collision. And Walt tells him he is not responsible for what happened, but Jesse calmly insists that he has learned not to shy away from who he really is, the bad guy. Inspired by this, Walt visits Gus at Los Portos Hermanos and tells him of his decision to get out of the meth business. And then Gus says that you haven't heard my offer, and he says he presents an offer to Walt, presents an offer to Walt of $3 million for 3 months of work. And Walt does briefly reconsider, but ultimately refuses. And he says, I've got more money than I need. I don't even know what to do with it all. $3 million, that's nice, but I already have enough money, so I'm going to have to decline. And then Walt and Gus shake hands, and Gus does this fake smile where he's like, thank you for your time, or whatever, like his fake Los Portos Hermanos gimmick or whatnot. And then back to the two Salamanca cousins who cross into the U.S. from Mexico, hidden in the back of a truck in search of Heisenberg. After another migrant discovers their affiliation with Juarez cartel, they kill the fellow passengers and the driver of the truck, and then they blow it up. And that's how the episode ends. So these two cousins, the Salamanca cousins, Liano and Marco, are going to be a force to be reckoned with when they get to where they need to be. As far as the score of this episode, I think most of it was filler. Nothing crazy happened. Obviously, it's the premiere of the season, but I think a premiere of the season should give you a lot, and then the middle episode should be kind of lackluster. But what am I to say? I'm going to give it an 8.4 out of 10, and I'll give the character episode to Walt, although it wasn't a really strong episode. But, I can't believe he started burning the money for a second there. I don't know what happened there. Needs to snap out of that shit right away. So, you've heard what I have to say. It's your turn. First of all, if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, make sure you smash that like button. I'll take a second. Let me know when you're ready. That's enough time. Smash that like button. If anybody you know would be interested in this, go ahead and share the video with them. Leave me plenty of comments, and those comments can be what you thought of this particular episode, your score of the episode, or if you want to talk about anything Breaking Bad or Breaking Bad El Camino, or I should say El Camino or Breaking Bad story or Breaking Bad movie, that's fine. Leave that in the comment section. Sorry, guys, I haven't seen Better Call Saul yet, aside from a few episodes. Maybe at some point I'm going to watch that. I don't know, but don't count on it, at least for the moment. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel. You can join the team, show your support for the channel, and of course, JDev will return.